Hey everyone, I just want to make this quick disclaimer about the video you're about to watch. Before I made this, I assumed that the Magic Online ban and restricted effective date, June 1st, would have also meant that the companion rules update, but as you can see on the website, the companion rules effective update also happens on June 3rd. So a couple more days before this goes live, a couple more days before the rules update goes live. So I think it's just the first one, maybe two games where I thought that we were gonna have to do the new sorcery rule where you pull it into your hand, and so that game is just a little bit skewed because of that, but not a big deal. So just a normal Jun League. Whenever this rule does get updated on June 3rd, I'll probably run it back and see if Luris is still capable of being used in Modern. So hope you guys enjoy watching. So this is the list that I've got tuned up for today. Just gonna run this through the league and see how it does. I haven't played Modern in a while. I haven't played Magic in a while, to be fair. But I come back to it every now and again, and like to see how things are going and whatnot. This seems like a pretty reasonable hand. We have a turn 1 Inquisition with a turn 2 Renin 6. So we'll try this one out. Okay, that's as big as that goes. Opponent mulligan 6. And they're not playing with a Pokemon. Grab an Overgrown Tomb here. Okay, looks like we're playing against Storm. Could take a ritual here with the hope of trophying the Brawl. That still gives them a land, which isn't great. We got a lot of removal spells in our deck, and not a ton of discard, only 6 discard spells. So I see an argument for either one here. I think I'm going to take the Brawl. Generally speaking, if they're able to sort of go off all in one turn and they play the Brawl, Ritual, and then do a couple other things, then it's a little bit scarier than them just going Ritual into some other things. So they're shocking a Steam Vents, which is a little weird considering they didn't have anything to play on one. But we'll see what they do. Probably an Opt or something to that effect. Pick up our Verdant. Yep. Let's grab a Forest here. Pick our land back up. Deploy a Scoos. Sago. Still have a Mountain, so we still know 4 of the 5 cards in their hand. Mountain, Ritual, Gifts and Given. So they don't have any way to take the Scoos off the table, as far as I know. So we are going to go ahead and eat the... I guess we'll just go ahead and eat the Brawl. Just get 1 more point of power on the Scoos. Them flashing back the Opt is not particularly scary. Here... I think we'll go ahead and grab another Overgrown Tomb. Yeah, we'll grab an Overgrown Tomb. Just so we have green and black, and then we'll cast this Kroxa. We still got 2 activations of Skoos up while holding up Trophy. And with 3 lands in our hand, if we get to the point where we can ultimate this Rin, because currently it's going up to 6 this turn, so it's not impossible. We could flashback this Inquisition a couple times, retrace the Inquisition rather, a couple times, and that could very easily win us the game. My guess here is that they likely are going to go Ritual into a Gifts, and then I'll have to decide how to split their piles. Yep. Gifts ungiven. Okay, looks like we got 4 draw cards. Put you into the graveyard. Well, probably just gonna give you Serum Vision, Sleight of Hand. Just put the other 2 big spells in the graveyard. It's an interesting pile. No passive flames in there, so leads me to believe that they just need to gather some resources, and Serum Vision's Sleight of Hand is the worst at doing that. Here, I think I'm just going to eat a Ritual. I can't imagine what they would have that would punish me for tapping out here. So we'll eat a Gifts. That's a Lightning Bolt. So if we go 3 points short, it looks like. 2 points short, technically, if we downtick the Rin. So, don't see any line to win this turn. So with that being said, I think we'll just shock in a Stomping Ground for another green source. Yep. In my head, I was thinking that we could bring back the Kroxa this turn, but we do not have nearly enough cards in the graveyard for that. So, we'll just smack them for 3, and then hopefully Lightning Bolt, Retrace, Lightning Bolt with 4 Skoos activations up is gonna be enough here. We can still have Assassin's Trophy as well. We'll just have to see what they've done. They should still have a Desperate Ritual. They discarded the Mountain. They cast both of these. Those are in their graveyard. So we know about a Desperate Ritual. That's it. but the opponent very clearly knows that this is the turn that they have to win if they're going to. At least they should know. I got some bad news for you, boy. I do believe that means you are dead. Delete the Manamorphose. Delete the gifts. There's not really any reason for me to be doing this at this point. I do believe that they are dead, barring them having, actually, they'd have to bounce the Ren and 6 to not lose here, I think. I just want to make sure that we get an emblem here. And they should very easily be dead if we connect. Even if we don't connect, they're probably still dead. You, sir. Okay. So we got game one pretty convincingly. Opponent really didn't do much. Took one card out of their hand and killed them with a Scavenging Ooze, so Scavenging Ooze just having sort of incidental graveyard hate there is more than enough for what we needed it to be. In this matchup, I don't think Assassin's Trophy is the greatest. Fatal Push is also not fantastic. Seal of Fire doesn't actually kill anything except for the Goblin Electromancer, but they usually max out on Baral. I could be wrong on that. I don't really play Storm, so. I do think that Nile Spellbomb is pretty good. Damping Sphere is obviously great. Don't necessarily think that Colligan's Command is great. We could definitely trim these two Colligan's Commands in the main deck as well. Weather the Storm is somewhat interesting, but generally, if the Storm deck is able to kill you, they're able to kill you by like a mile and not by an inch. So if they've got some, you know, ridiculous Storm term going off, they we could certainly try it. I'm not opposed to trying it. Engineered Explosives is great for the goblins. We'll do that. So I think we'll trim something like this. These six. I don't really like boils in this matchup, just considering they generally have things like Spirebluff Canal and Shivan Reef instead of Steam Vents and Islands. The other consideration is like some number of Collector Brutalities. Technically, Collector Brutality can nab Goblin Electromancer and take an instant or sorcery out of their hand, which is great. But don't necessarily know if it's better than what I've got currently. Abrupt Decay is interesting. Abrupt Decay's got to be better than Fatal Push, so maybe we'll do something like this. Just one Collector Brutality in place of a Fatal Push. Just simply because this can just be a discard spell as well as a removal spell on specifically Goblin or Electromancer. We'll try that. See how that goes. Not convinced that is the correct way to sideboard, but it is a way to sideboard, so we're going to go with it. Double Bobble, 2 lands, 2 threats. No discard spells, which is a little bit scary, but we do have 2 redraws. I haven't played Magic Online since they added the flicking noises. I guess I'll try and change that after this. I don't know. I don't really want another lamb. I don't think I'm gonna bolt anything, so we're just gonna fetch here. Just put an overgrown tomb into play tapped. Play another bobble. Sego. Ritual. Anamorphose. Brawl. Maybe I should have left up red mana. Okay, alright, empty the Warrens. Well, let's see what's on top of their deck, I guess. We have a Desperate Ritual. Yeah, Destinate. It seems to be loading fine on my phone. I don't really know. I guess I'll take a look at it here after the stream. See if I can figure out if there's any other things I can do to fix the issue. Okay, we're gonna draw 2 cards. And we drew the Engineered Explosives, which is basically the only card that we had that was gonna keep us in this game. I am gonna bobble myself here, just to see if I want to fetch or play this. Grafdigger's Cage is a pretty good draw to have, simply because the Grafdigger's Cage will prevent any future Past in Flames, anything like that. Hopefully here we just win because my opponent sort of threw all their cards on the table with this Empty the Warrens play. I think this next turn we will bolt the Brawl, play a Tarmogoyf. Aria of Flame. Okay, well, that is a little bit scary. So we do need to kill our opponent very quickly. So yeah, we'll grab a green source here. Actually, I don't really need a ton of green sources just because we're going to have this Graph Digger's Cage in play. So I may as well grab double black, or a third black source rather, simply for the, let's bolt this first. Third black source for, Croxa, if we draw that. Okay, so we took a little bit of damage there. Nothing too drastic. Just attack with the Goyf. If we play the Ooze, eat the Brawl, that puts us at 8 power for next turn. So I need to do 5 more. So a single Lightning Bolt's not going to fix that, so we'd have to hit with a Tarmogoyf for 1 more turn. I think I'm going to crack the Peatland. And then... if they do something nutty with this... well, shame on me for not playing the Graph Digger's Cage, but I don't think... they don't have enough mana, really, for me to be too scared of a Passive Flames play. Bolt is good. It's not great. So attack for 7. There's definitely a combination of cards here that kill me, I think. May involve some Manamorphoses. But we are technically at 22 right now, going down to 18 effectively, because we do have 1 life gain built up in the Scavenging Ooze. We can gain by eating the Brawl. Yep, Manamorphose is scary. That means they can keep going, but they need basically 2 more cards that draw cards, so they need like opt into opt, or well, they made blue-red, which is good news. But if they go like ritual, ritual, any 2 spells, here I think I'm dead. 6 plus 7 is 13, so that is my maximum life total. Hey, we did it. Round 1 to Jund. Didn't ever cast Luris. Didn't ever really need to. But, you know, the 8th resource, I suppose, could have come up some point during that game. Round 2. Reveal my Pokemon. Not the best hand. If we had a fetch land in this hand, it would be an instant keep. So there's definitely an argument to mulligan this. But since our opponent is playing first, we're on the draw. We have a turn 1 Thoughtseize into a turn 2 Scavenging Ooze. I don't think that's the worst line of play. So we're going to keep. And we drew the red source anyways. So I'm going to go ahead and get that. And go get a Stomping Ground. And I messed up because I totally intended to Thoughtseize this turn, but we'll play a Seal of Fire instead. So, minor mistake, but hopefully it doesn't punish us too much. It looks like we're playing against some kind of Infect. Maybe, I thought it might have been Affinity, but usually Affinity plays more cards on turn 1. So, with the breeding pool, I definitely think it's Infect. So what we're going to do here is we are going to let them infect us for 1, and then post-combat we'll Seal of Fire the Inkmoth Nexus. And they'll likely save it with a, yep, Mutagenic Growth. That's Infect 101, kids. Always remember after they attack. Definitely have a couple different options here. We could Shock In, play our Renin 6, pick up our land. We could Thoughtseize and Lightning Bolt, which I think is the play that I like the most. Just kind of want to be interactive here and get a feel for what they have in their hand. And then I'll play a threat next turn. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Cast it during your main phase. So the Blossoming Defense is technically the only thing that saves the Inkmoth Nexus based on what their hand is right now. So essentially they're going to have to, so if they attack for 1 and then like burn a Might, then I can bolt it. Or if they burn a Might during the main phase, I can bolt it then. But if assuming that they don't draw another Mutagenic Growth. But since we've already lost 1, or already seen 1, I think this is the easiest play. So. This is definitely going to be a game in which the new companion rule may come into effect here. So again, we're going to let them attack. If we bolted here, if we bolted the Inkmoth Nexus here, what they would likely do is Might of Old Krosa in response and then Mutagenic Growth, and then we'd have a 5-power Inkmoth Nexus with 3 damage on it coming at us. So if we do it post-combat here, they can do the same thing, but now they burn 2 spells and we're only at 2 poison rather than 7. So they burned a Groundswell, so that was their draw for the turn. So they Groundswelled. Okay, yeah, which gives it +4/+4. Okay, I'm not blanking there. So the remaining 3 cards are those 3. Let's go with... I could take this turn to put the Lurrus in my hand, and then if we draw a red source next turn, I can Seal of Fire and hold up Seal of Fire against the Nexus, which is not ideal. Alternatively, I can play a Renin 6, pick up my Verdant Catacombs, and then I know for sure that I have 4 mana for Luris, but it's going to take me 2 turns to get it rolling. Can also just play Kroxa, make them discard a card. They probably discard one of the 2 Might of Old Crosas. Then the next turn they get to hit me for 1, 4, 6, 7. So I go to 9, right? 9 poison. Am I counting that right? 1 plus 4 is 5, 6, 7. 7, go to 9 poison. I think my best play here is okay. This is still templated the old way. Had I known that, that would have made that turn much easier. Yep. We may still be dead. Yep. Oh, right. Well, they drew a land. Okay, gotcha. Okay, give me a few minutes, guys. I'm gonna make a minor stream change real quick. Okay, sorry about the wait, guys. Having some minor technical issues. This hand's not great, but it plays a turn 2 Bob or Croxa, and you have a turn 3 Culligan's Command. I guess I'll keep. It's not ideal, but we'll keep. Opponent mulligans the 6, which is good news for us. I think we're gonna go with a Bob here. No Inkmoth Nexus is good. Blighted Agent is easier to beat than many of the threats they could have. When I say many, I really mean Inkmoth Nexus. That card's definitely the hardest one to beat, I would say. Okay, we picked up a Culligan's Command off of the Bob trigger. I think I'm just gonna play a Kroxa and hold up Fatal Push. So I'll play a Bloodstained Mire, red black. And I am 1000% okay with them blocking this Dark Confidant. So if that's what they want to do. Of course it's not. Never get what we want. Rancor. I did click through that just slightly more quickly than I would have liked. I should have thought about that a little bit more. If I kill the Blighted Agent in response to the Rancor doesn't get picked back up. However, if they have something like a Blossoming Defense or a, you know, Vines of the Vastwood, some kind of protection spell there, Spell Pierce even, then they get to keep both of their things, and their guy gets powered up. So we will go ahead and attempt to push the agent now. Yep. It's just trying to trade 1 for 1 here as much as we can. Mishra's Bauble's not the best. Tarmogoyf also not the best. So let's go ahead and we will cast this Mishra's Bauble. We'll take a look at the top card of our library, see if we want to fetch. Collective Brutality. That card's okay. I think probably our best line is just shock the Blighted Agent, take the last card out of their hand, or take a card out of their hand, then they're likely going to save it with something, and then they're going to have 0 cards in their hand, but they'll have a 3-power Blighted Agent that can't be blocked. So you discard 2 damage here. We'll play the Foothills first, just to scare him a little bit. Yep. Might of Old Krosa, save the Blighted Agent. Discard the last card. And I will attack with the bomb. If they draw any pump spell, I'm basically dead. They are hitting me for 4 here. So any pump spell for 2 kills me. Inkmoth Nexus is not lethal. Okay. Still not dead. Glistener Elf is a little scary, but not quite as scary as a second Blighted Agent or something like that. They do have an Inkmoth Nexus now, which is terrifying. So we will go ahead and get a Stomping Ground here. And I think the only line that we really have is well, that's a really good draw, because now we know what they're gonna draw. Might of Old Krosa. So if we Collective Brutality, the Noble Hierarch, and Culligan's command the Blighted Agent right now, we're still dead because they picked the Rancor up. I can Brutality, yeah, this is the line. So I can Brutality the Blighted Agent, it kills it, they're gonna pick up the Rancor, we can go Culligan's command, kill the Noble Hierarch, make you discard a card. Then they can spend their 1 mana animating the Inkmoth Nexus, and they can attack me for 2. I can block this. We trade these, and they hit me for 1. They don't have enough mana to cast the Might of Old Krosa that's on top of their library. And they can't. If they cast the Might of Old Krosa on the Glistener Elf, then we'll just chump block it with the Dark Confidant, and they can't hit me with the Inkmoth Nexus. So either way, I'm at 8 or 9 poison based on how they decide to take this line, take this turn. So we will go ahead and Brutality this. Do it -2/-2. They pick up the Rancor. And then you discard 2 damage at your Noble Hierarch. And then now we have to leave back for a chump block. Or for a trade, at the very least. Assassin's Trophy is a pretty good pickup. That means we can answer the Inkmoth Nexus. And then it's basically top of their deck versus my Tarmogoyf and the top of theirs. So we are going to go ahead and Inquisition that Might out of their hand. And we will trophy this right now. And then play a Tarmogoyf. So basically at this point, the scariest thing they can draw is either another Inkmoth Nexus or a Blighted Agent. But Blighted Agent is not the worst thing in the world. We are going to cast the Luris here. It's worth noting that at this current juncture in the game, I would have enough mana to both cast the Luris to pick it up from to my hand. So the 3 mana activated ability, or well, the 3 mana special ability that they added, and then cast it from my hand to then cast a Mishra's Bauble. So we did get to that point in the game. Not sure if that would have definitively won me the game, but I think it was probably more correct to start drawing cards there, either with a Bob or a Mishra's Bauble, rather than recasting the Kroxa, or, yeah, it was the Kroxa was the other option. Assassin's Trophy was pretty A-okay there. Still not convinced that it's the best option. For us. Culligan's command's a little bit clunky, which I'm not the biggest fan of. So we could do something like this, maybe. 2 Culligan's commands, 2 Assassin's Trophies. Trophy's like good against exactly Inkmoth Nexus, but it really doesn't do much, and against the other threats it's kind of like just a removal spell. We'll run this. Let's try it. Show you my Pokemon. This hand could go really well or it could go really poorly, but they kept 7, so we'll keep 7. I don't think I care about the Noble Hierarch. I think I'd rather just... Oh, I thought this was a fetch land. I made a boo-boo. No big deal. I definitely intended for all of this to go exactly like this, and I can't take their threat, which is even better. We're gonna take the Blossoming Defense. It's the cheapest pump spell that also gives them hexproof. And then hopefully we just draw Blackleaf Cliffs off the top. And you know, we act like none of this ever happened. Okay, Blighted Agent is Bad News Bears. Huh. Okay, yep, we're probably dead. Definitely a small mistake on my part. I assumed that we had a fetch land in my opening hand. I assumed that was Averting Catacombs rather than Overgrown Tomb. So I definitely should have looked a little bit closer at that. But okay. So that's not the worst. We are not dead. This Wooded Foothills could bring us back into the game. We'll see. We'll see. Probably going to get a Blood Crypt here with this Wooded Foothills. An attempt to bolt the Blighted Agent post-combat. I guess we could also have done it during my main phase. But, ooh, that's a fancy schmancy artwork that I haven't seen before. Yeah, I definitely should have bolted during my main phase. Because now they're going to Pendlehaven attack and they have Exalted. There, it's a 3-4. So, 2 mistakes, same game, not a big deal. Still gonna win this game. Confident. Okay. Now I'm just dead to the vines. Right? There's nothing I can do. Yeah, I don't believe there was anything I could do this turn or the previous turn. If I hadn't made the mistake of not bolting on my main phase or abrupt decay even on the main phase, they would have just traded the vines for whatever removal spell I decided to use, and because they had that noble hierarch still untapped. And if I do that, then they just attack for this amount. Essentially, they just exalted attack, pump, 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 and this is lethal. Hey, listen, you know, you gotta try, right? If you just think you're gonna lose, then you've already lost. Yeah, I saw your message. I could be a planeswalker? Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Yeah, you can have it as a webcam border. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I was working on one a little earlier, so I may try this one out, like if I'm playing Magic and stuff. That'd be pretty neato. I need to sort of figure out I haven't looked. I think I have my webcam placed in a decent spot. For Magic Online, because like your player icon's kind of over here on the left, but took a whole 3 seconds. Well, the one that I made took a whole 3 hours and it still looks like poo-poo, so we'll see. Reveal my Pokemon. Yep. I kill the things. I draw a card. Play my Pokemon. What else could you ask for? Dude, that's like 3 opponents in a row that mulligan to 6 cards. Guys, just keep your hands. Keep them all. Fatal push. I've made a mistake. Immediately after having done that, I realized that I should have played the bobble in my land and then decided what I wanted on top based on what they played in the first turn. Because, yeah, now I don't want this fatal push. So, we're likely going to lose this game anyways, so... But actually not, though. Because, you know, we win games. And confidence is key, right? Appreciate it, brother. Okay, Renin 6 is not ideal. Probably just going to Abrupt Decay this guy. And hopefully they don't have any other Tron lands. They had another... Guys, they had another Tron land. Ah. Now I don't get to draw cards with my Mishra's Bobble. Yeah, I'm just going to exile the Abrupt Decay. I think I'm just going to play the Luris. Yeah, we're just going to play Luris. And make them crack the Relic. Yep. I would like to point out that my sideboard is definitely not built to beat Tron in any way, shape, or form. Oh, are we playing against bad Tron? Good Tron doesn't usually play this card because it's not a good card. But bad Tron does. And we got a shot against bad Tron. We're gonna draw a card. Tarmogoyf. Sure. Pick up my land that drew me a card. And we'll smack you for 3. Now that I've disrespected this Tron deck, they're going to play a Thought-Knot Seer next turn. That's fine. That's respectable. Dismember a wonderful creature. Cran, the great creator. Okay. got an expedition map, which is understandable. They want to go get their Tron. If they tap correctly next turn, they're gonna have 5 mana after they play the expedition map. What do we do here? I think we just play a Verdant Catacombs, play a Tarmogoyf, uptick the Rin. I guess we could also down tick the Rin. No, I'm just gonna bolt the Karn. Yeah. Bolt the Karn. Uptick the Rin. And this way, the Verdant Catacombs can crack for Fatal Push if they play a Thought-Knot Seer post map. If they play a Reality Smasher and attack, that's bad news for them. But they're playing a Karn and searching, which is bad news for me. Could be a Relic. They could go get the Relic out of exile, which is probably a decent play. Wormcoil Engine. I mean, I'll be honest with you, that's also a decent play. That card's probably gonna beat me. Alright, so definitely just attacking the Karn here. And then probably drawing a card with the Nurturing Peatland. Let's draw a card first before we attack. Assassin's Trophy. I mean, if we trophy a land, they play the Wormcoil anyways, then I have to deal with a Wormcoil without an Assassin's Trophy in my hand. I think the play is uptick the Rin, pick up the Peatland. They're likely going to play a Wormcoil Engine this turn. Hopefully they don't do anything too much more crazy because they do have access to 9 mana. So if they play Wormcoil, we can not attack. When they attack, we'll Assassin's Trophy it. They'll make 2 3/3s. The Ren will be on 7 at that point, and hopefully they don't have anything to deal with that. And then we'll just have infinite. Never mind. Okay. I don't have anything to say about that. That card is powerful. And my cards are colored. So I think we just play another Ren and 6. Pick up land. Let's do this. Yeah. There's no way they didn't cast something if they had it, so we'll just pick up the land. If they had a 3 draw or a something CMC 3 or less, they definitely would have cast it, so not gonna bother. I suppose they could have had that. Yeah. I probably should have cast it anyways. But I didn't think about that one. So, They had one. Now they're left with an all is dust. So we have enough removal spells to deal with everything. And then we'll be left with a Ren and 6 versus they're nothing, basically. They'll have an all is dust. So this turn we're going to pick up Verdant Catacombs. I'm going to go ahead and crack that for Swamp. We're going to go Assassin's Trophy, the Wormcoil Engine, Bolt, one of the three things, Fatal Push, and we'll just clear up their whole board. I am going to kill this during their turn because I don't want it to be able to attack, and I don't want this to be able to pump. So I'm gonna go ahead and that's not what I want. I don't want to go to combat. I want to play this. I want to bolt this. And they're likely going to point 3 damage at me or my Ren. I don't know yet. Probably at me. Yep. I'm gonna go ahead and pass, and then on this turn, now when they attack, we will Assassin's Trophy the Wormcoil Engine. We don't even have to technically Fatal Push yet. We'll just let them go get their land, and then if they have any other plays that they want to make, then we can sort of decide what to do with these Fatal Pushes. I suppose I should have pushed the Walking Ballista just simply because if they play another Planeswalker here, Lightning Bolt is better against a Planeswalker. Yep. That's all fine and dandy. And then here we'll push one, untap, push one, and then we have an extra draw step here with this. And then it's basically top of their deck versus top of mine. And generally we lose these, but you know, it's not every time. We did already use our Luris, which is yeah, we'll go ahead and push this. And we'll leave Bolt for another Planeswalker if they find one. Thoughtseize. Not ideal. So just kind of hoping for them to brick. They haven't run into too many threats. I guess worst case scenario, they find a Thought-Knot Seer. Just simply because we already used our Fatal Pushes, which is kind of unfortunate. Go ahead and play that. Pass. We are holding 4 cards to their none, but again, their cards are generally more powerful than mine. Go ahead and Mishra's Bobble them. Thought-Knot Seer. Let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, we'll take the All is Dust. I had a feeling that they either had a land or an All is Dust or something like that. Maybe a Dismember. Thought-Knot Seer is going to take my Scavenging Ooze, which is a little bit unfortunate. If they decide to take my Bolt, I'm okay with that, so I'll keep the Bolt in my hand instead of firing it off at them. If I drew another land, I was going to fire the Bolt off at them. That is definitely the reason to fire off Mishra's Baubles during your opponent's turn rather than your own. Okay. Matter Reshaper is lethal next turn. And I think I'm going to concede to that. Yeah. Suppose I could have played one more turn, but it's unlikely I would have won there. So what do we do? Fighter Brutality is not great. Boil's not great. Anger of the Gods is not great. Weather the Storm's not great. Culligan's Command is pretty okay. Damping Sphere and Assassin's Trophy are fine. Scavenging Ooze is pretty good. Inquisition is actually really awkward in this matchup just because, like, it's okay on, like, the first few turns, but otherwise it's kind of, like, really bad. As you guys saw in those last few turns, I chose not to cast it all entirely. Granted, if I had, I probably would have been in a better spot, but we'll try out this configuration here. I think that's the only options that I really had. Luris is my Pokemon. Yeah, and I'll keep this for sure. Triple Bobble, Thoughtseize, Ren, and 6. They mulligan to 6 cards. We're going to start on a Fetch Art Blood Crypt and Thoughtseize them. We'll go to 15, play our Nurturing Peatland, go to 14, and play a Ren and 6. Hopefully that's how this pans out. Okay, so they've got 2 removal spells and a Chalice of the Void. I think I'm okay with them having a Chalice. But at the same time, the removal spells don't really do anything. Like, unless I draw creatures. But they don't do anything against my current threat. So I guess I'll take the Chalice. Sure. Go. They drew a power plant. Or I'm sorry, they didn't draw a power plant. I should have bobbled them in their upkeep. So we'll see what they draw this next turn. Oh, Eldrazi Temple. I was like, where did it go? There it is. We'll draw 3 cards. 4 cards. Matter Reshaper. Just gonna go ahead and kill, make them discard. And I want to do this when they have as few cards in their hand as possible. Yeah, they pick up a power plant. Put it onto the battlefield with the Matter Reshaper's ability. We'll pick up our Bloodstained Mire. Play it. And now we have Culligan's Command Lightning Bolt up if they play a Reality Smasher. Smasher. They put a single charge counter on their blast zone, which leads me to believe that they just want to trade the blast zone for the Ren and 6, which is not ideal for me, but I'm not too concerned with it. Planers is mine. Bash the turn. Yeah, I'm just gonna crack this at the end of the turn. I'm gonna go and pick up the land again. We'll play Luris. And we will play a Mishra's Bauble. And we'll take a look at the top card of their deck. Urza's Tower, which gives them access to somewhere in the range of infinite mana. Assassin's Trophy's not a bad draw. Six mana. Could be a Worm Coil. Ugin the Ineffable. All is dust. Oh, because it's reduced by 2. I was like, what? Yep. It's fine. So we're gonna go ahead and bolt the Ugin end of turn. And then untap and play Culligan's Command. Shock the Ugin. Probably go ahead and pick up Luris again. And just go Luris. Bobble. Although they have a Dismember in their hand we know about, so maybe we Inquisition that first. I mean, they do have just about enough mana to basically do anything at this point, so let's go return Luris, 2 damage at the Ugin. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and play a Bloodstained Mire, crack this for a swamp. We'll Inquisition their Dismember, play a Ren and 6, pick up the Bloodstained Mire. And we'll have a Ren and 6 on 4 versus their Spirit and top of their deck. Come on, opponent. Let my Inquisition resolve. I wonder if they may have been thinking about potentially dismembering their own Spirit, just hoping that there's like a land or a something of CMC3 or greater underneath there. But I think it's probably just better to leave the Spirit in play. Pick up our Blitzdaymire. Pass the turn. We could be Assassin's Trophying their Urza's lands, but I don't really think it's worth it at this point. Basically, if we Assassin's Trophy the tower, or even the mine for that matter, it turns their 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 mana into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 12 into 7. Like, most of the cards in their deck are castable at 7 mana. That just means that they can't double spell, and currently they're top decking, so I'm not too worried about it. This is one of the exceptions, I suppose. But now we have an Assassin's Trophy to deal with the Karn Great Creator, which is fine. It's not great, but it's fine. It work. It kill Kran. He die. Oh, that's a big boat. I don't know if I could beat the boat. I'm gonna need another color against command. I've already gone through 2. So at this point, we can go Luris, recast a Wrenn and 6 from the graveyard, because they're likely going to kill my Wrenn and 6 here. I feel like that was probably a misplay on the opponent's part, but whatever. This does require crew 3, so they don't currently have 3 power in play. I suppose that they were probably leaving back just to protect from like Raging Ravine attacking the Karn, which is reasonable. I could go Kroxa, Reborn Kroxa, or Escape Kroxa this turn, but I don't think that's what I want to do. I don't really know what I want to do. Luris recast Bauble is not exciting. Go ahead and pick up the peatland, and we can probably trophy the Karn. I'm gonna go to my opponent's upkeep, and I think we'll trophy the Karn here. At which point we can activate the Bauble, because the Karn's in play. We cannot currently activate the Bauble. We'll take a look at what they're drawing. Scavenger Grounds. That card's kind of annoying here, I'll be completely honest with you. Yeah, I'm okay with this. We will start by cracking a peat land probably, and then going Croxa. Scoos. Depending on what we draw. Obviously. I do think we're going to attack with the Lurrus this turn because no matter what creature they draw, they're going to use it to animate the boat. We do get 2 draws here, as well as a Nurturing Peatland draw, which is good. Culligan's Command's still really good here. Get to go kill this, and then we would play Croxa to make them discard the last card in their hand. Opponent is taking their sweet time. This is only game 2. We did lose game 1, but if we run them out of time, maybe we end up winning anyways. But that's not ideal. Rather just, do some Jund things. We've done it, boys. Yeah, I think that's the line. Shock your guy, destroy your artifact. I mean, at this rate, we're probably just gonna win on time. Opponent's really taking their sweet time, so I do apologize for this, guys. Be slow. Okay. And like I said, we'll play the Croxa. Take the last card out of their hand. And then I'll probably just play the Scavenging Ooze. Do actually have to kill our opponent, assuming that they don't lose on time anyways. And we are a little bit low on life, but this lifelink creature could definitely help turn that around a little bit. This has been a particularly grindy game. I would say that generally, if the games stick to this pattern, the extra 3 mana that it costs to play Lurrus is still not going to be substantial enough to basically make people stop playing it. I think it's still a very reasonable thing to be doing. pay a little bit more mana, still get a free 8th card. Crack Peatland. I think I'm just going to animate the Raging Ravine and attack for 4. If they want to trade, I don't think I'm okay with that. Well, minor mistake. I meant to play the Seal of Fire out, but that's okay. It's probably not going to make too big of a difference anyways. Chalice on 2. Chalice on 2 does lock me out of Kroxa, even though it's technically 4 mana to bring that back. I think they're dead, right? We fetch for green. Green, green, eat. Go to 4 power here. We don't even technically have to go to 4 power here. We can just go animate. Attack for 5, 6, 7. Make it 8. Cast a Seal of Fire. We'll eat my Kroxa. Cast the Seal of Fire. Seal you. Alright. We got a game. Opponent still only has 6 minutes on their clock, but their deck is quite good against mine. So that's not to say that they're going to guaranteed lose on time, but they're at least behind. I believe we have 9 minutes on clock, so. This hand's fine. It's not great, but it's fine. Assassin's Trophy can maybe pick apart their Tron. May just be using it to so let's play a Mishra's Bauble. I'm just gonna cast a Seal of Fire. And then we'll bobble them in their upkeep. Urza's Power Plant. Second Temple could mean Thought Not Seer here. Yep, that's what it looks like. Which is terrifying. They can't take both of my Tarmogoyfs, which can very easily become larger than this Thought Not Seer. We do need to draw something like a fetch land to help out with that. But land artifact enchantment makes these guys 3/4s. So we're pretty close. And 2 Wrenn and 6s makes them uncastable. Probably going to die to this turn 2 Thought Not Seer. I suppose it's possible I should have done that during the main phase, just because if I draw a land there, I just get to play something else. I'm gonna get punished here. I forgot this card makes me draw a card. Yep. Punished for my sequencing. Karn. Grab a thing. Sundering Titan. That card's spooky. How big is Sundering Titan? 710. Tarmogoyf's not anywhere near that, guys. I guess we just jam it. Huge mistake not sealing in the main phase last turn and fatal pushing the Thought-Knot Seer. I think that's going to cost me the game. Yep. And blow up 2 of my lands. Yeah, we'll go ahead and concede that. A little frustrating, but, you know, it is what it is. I think if, you know, maybe, obviously we could have built our sideboard a little bit differently to play through that matchup, but, you know, it's not likely that we're winning that matchup anyways, even if you do, like, throw 4 pillages in your sideboard or whatever. But we obviously don't have any cards in our sideboard for that particular matchup, any of the big mana decks. Really the only one that we have is like a Damping Sphere. So we'll try and pull out the 3/2 Dream. See if we can still get there. This hand's fine. Start by bobbling ourselves. But we are on the draw. Yep. Lotus Bloom. Adnos? That's a good draw. I think I'm going to go ahead and bobble them just for information. Yeah. What we got? It's not going to matter too much whether or not we fetch away the top card. Okay, they have a spoils on top, which is good to know about. Wolfot sees them. And they have a Pentad Prism, Angel's Grace, Ad Nauseam. So we'll just go ahead and take the Ad Nauseam. The Spoils of the Vault does make taking this a little bit more awkward, but Ad Nauseam is definitely the better of the two. And they also don't have the Merfolk guy yet. So we'll take that with the plan of Abrupt Decaying the Pentad Prism next turn. Oh, they don't have a second land. So we don't have to do that yet. We get to play our Dark Confidant and then Abrupt Decay later, which is good for us and bad for them. Just gonna play this Bob. Bobby boy. Carry me to victory, Bobby boy. I'll be completely honest, whenever this card sort of stopped seeing play, whenever Ren and 6 was printed, and even in, you know, just the past few years, just with Bob being such a liability with your life total, I was kind of sad, because like I really liked this card, but then Laris came around and was like, hey, duh, you need a lifelink creature that also says that all of your cards have to be CMC2 or less. I got you. And now we get to play a couple Dark Confidants. Obviously, you could have done it anyways, but, you know, now you got an incentive to. So we're going to smack him with the Bob. I'm going to go ahead and go fetch another Overgrown Tomb. Yep. Go ahead and Inquisition them. Oh, this is a good Inquisition. I do not want them to have that. I guess I don't really care much about this. I can just take the spoils. Take the spoils. And, I don't think they have any graveyard interactions. What's the... Okay, this has 1 left on it. So, this next turn, they get to go... basically nothing, right? Because we took their spoils. Assuming that they don't drop another black spell. They just can't draw ad nauseum and or spoils. If they draw spoils, I think we're dead. If they draw a land, they probably just play the Pentad Prism. They drew Serum Visions. Which means... probably nothing. 2 cards on bottom. These could become a liability, but I think I'm going to play the Luris this turn. Could also just Abrupt Decay the Lotus Bloom. Yeah, I'm not gonna die to my Bobs, right? Inquisition you. Take your Thassa's Oracle. Oh yeah. Well, if that's what their hand is, their hand's 2 Angel's Graces and 2 Pentad Prisms. So yeah, now I feel way more comfortable just playing the Luris. And we'll go ahead and bobble. And then on my opponent's upkeep, we will bobble their deck. What you got, boy? Dark Slick Shores. Oh, okay. They're just casting 2 Pentad Prisms. Yeah. Or maybe just 1. I don't really know. I don't feel like this was the greatest line, but I mean, it turns 5 temporary mana into 6 temporary mana, and it takes it out of their hands. So, like, maybe. Now I just get to Abrupt Decay one of these. Whereas I suppose before I could have just abrupt decayed one of the Lotus Bloom. I don't know. I don't know whether or not that play was good for our opponent. Okay. So they know about the Assassin's Trophy and the Verdant Catacombs. Oh, I don't need to play any other threats because they are dead. Next turn. So I'm going to play this. I'm going to play this. And even if I made them discard one of their 2 Angel's Graces, they can still win if they draw exactly ad nauseum, I think. But if we abrupt decay one of these, I don't think they can win anyhow. So, go. Yep. City of Brass does not do it. Take an Angel's Grace 2 turns away, essentially. Go ahead and grab a Blood Crypt. I think I have lethal through Angel's Grace anyways. Yeah, I think I have lethal through Angel's Grace anyways. Just because of the Kroxa. Kroxa and Laris, to be specific. So we are going to attack for 7. They're going to be forced to Angel's Grace. We'll cast Kroxa. And then we'll recast Kroxa, which causes them to lose life rather than taking damage, which puts them at -2. And when they go to -2, they'll just die as soon as I pass the turn. So, pretty easy win there. Pretty convincing win with Jund. Generally a good matchup if you draw your discard spells. Generally not if you draw a bunch of your removal spells. So yeah, these are the cards that you kind of want to trim. Kolaghan's Command is like okay because it hits Lotus Bloom and the Pentad Prism. So we are going to take Damping Sphere. They don't generally do anything with their graveyard, but I will take a second Kolaghan's Command. Again, this is a deck that plays blue, but it's not a deck that has islands specifically. Collective Brutality is fine. It's more discard spells for their stuff. We'll just keep in the bolts as reach. I don't know who it is that's in my chat right now, but I can see that your account was made 3 minutes ago. Also lol. I'll do it for 2 shiny pennies. Okay, Blackleaf into Inquisition. I told you, dude. 2 shiny pennies. Probably take the Angel's Grace here. Yeah, we'll take the Angel's Grace. Yeah, we'll play Bob. Bobby! Interesting. Okay. Floop the top with Bob. Mishra's Bobble. So let's go ahead and bobble ourselves. See what's on top here. Colligan's Command. We have one of these on suspend. Huh. I think I want the Colligan's Command, but I'm not entirely sure. Because technically, if they're going to ad nauseum, they can just do it in response to the K command. So I think I'd rather take... Yeah, see, they're leaving themselves with 2 ad nauseums here. Which is a little weird, but understandable. Ooh, they knew they had Angel's Grace on top, I suppose. So we're probably just dead. So it looks like they're still on the Lightning Storm Spirit Guide kill, which is really all I wanted to see. And they've got a couple Pact of Negations in here, at least one. So, I don't think that really changes our sideboarding at all. Because even if they Spirit Guide into the Lightning Storm kill, Weather the Storm doesn't beat that. So I don't think it changes any part of how we're going to sideboard. So we'll just run it back. Yep. Now this is a good hand. I can get behind this, boy. We're going to Inquisition into Ren and 6, probably. And then on turn 3, we'll go Croxa Inquisition. Mulligan to 5. Well, that makes Croxa a little bit more inviting on turn 2 rather than turn 3, but we'll see. Could very easily go turn 1 Inquisition into turn 2 Rin turn 3. Croxa Inquisition. Some variation of that. Only one card with CMC 3 or less, which is okay for us right now. It doesn't mean we're necessarily going to miss, but it does not guarantee that we're going to hit. Play Marin, boy. Pick up the Foothills. I think there is an argument for playing Croxa there, but I think getting the Rin down is more valuable. Just making them, forcing them to pick this early in the game which of their resources they want to hold on to is interesting. Yeah, that's fine. So they have Swamp. So their last 3 cards are Ad Nauseam, Plains, Unknown. So we are going to play this Wooded Foothills, grab an Overgrown Tomb, and then Culligan's Command, we're going to go you discard, destroy your artifact. Then pick up the Foothills again. Just want to keep taking away the resources if we can. They discarded the Plains. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Let's play our Tarmogoyf here. And our Croxa. You discard a card, put my clock into play, pick up my land. They discarded Ad Nauseam, which leads me to believe that the last card in their hand is another copy of Ad Nauseam. Okay. Play the Mana Monkey. It was not Ad Nauseam. It was a Mana Monkey. Not really much that we can do to mess up this game. I'll go ahead and cast Luris and then recast the Croxa. I guess I could also just cast Scavenging Ooze. But Croxa also just deals them 3. I don't know. Could go both ways on that one. There's not really much benefit to having the Scavenging Ooze in play because there's not any creatures in the graveyard currently for me to eat and make bigger than the Simian Spirit Guide, but if he chump blocks here, then it becomes bigger than the Simian Spirit Guide. And by doing this, we get a little bit of value out of the Lyris immediately, which is nice. And now that he's chosen to do that, I don't think there's a way that we lose this game because the Ren in 6 on 7 is almost guaranteed going to win us the game. We just get to draw step K command for the rest of the game. We'll go to combat, attack with both. Ult the Ren. Yeah, I don't really think 6, 7, 8, yeah. We'll just play this just to make sure that it's lethal. Go. And you draw step. Oh, outplayed. A little bit there. Not really though. There wasn't really a combination of cards that they could have drawn there that I think wins them the game. Most of Ad Nauseam's combos are stemmed from 2 cards. The Veil of Summer just counters my 1 and draws them 1. So we'll just attack with my dudes. Well, I didn't mean to do that, but whatever. Pull you. Okay. Game 5. What did we play against round 1? Level 99 Pichu was some creature deck, I think. Can't even remember now. Lost to, in fact, lost to Tron. I know those two. Lyris is still good. I was hoping to test out the new mechanic that they've given the companions, but apparently they haven't implemented it yet on Magic Online, so. This is 5 lands and a Ren and 6, which is effectively infinite lands. But turn 3 Lyris, right? Play Bobble. Just pass. Windswept Heath is exciting. Please play something with 1 toughness. Yeah. Alright, we will bobble ourselves. Thoughtseize on top. Don't really care too much for Thoughtseize. This is a creature-based matchup, and if they just vomit their cards onto the table quickly, Thoughtseize really doesn't do much. I know it's early, but we are definitely playing Ren and 6 this turn, so that's kind of my thought process. If they just play 2 more 1-drops next turn and just have a couple lands, it's kind of awkward. I don't know. Druid discard spells anyways. I guess I did that with the thinking that, you know, us drawing either a removal spell or another discard spell is just as fine as Thoughtseize, so. Play Tarmogoyf. Pick up the land. and play an Inquisition. Okay. Kasali Ambusher and Leonin Arbiter. What does this card do? If a creature is attacking you and you control a forest and a plains, you may cast Kasali Ambusher without paying its mana cost, and as though it had flash. Without paying its mana cost, and as though it had flash. I mean, that's just another thing, right? But like they have to cast it at sorcery speed unless they attack them. So like Leonin Arbiter is definitely the more annoying of those two cards. Because next turn I'm probably gonna fetch and have to pay for this. Oh, and they're just gonna strip mine me, aren't they? That's rude, my dude. Oh, I guess they're not strip mining me yet. I think I just want to keep developing my mana. I don't really want to play Laris quite yet. So we'll just ignore the effect. Crack a fetch land. Go grab a Blood Crypt. Then bolt the Leonin Arbiter. Pick up the Bloodstained Mire. And I actually don't want to attack them because, again, they can cast that stupid reach creature without paying its mana cost. And just giving them the option to attack the Wrenn in 6, I think, is not what I wanted to be doing. Yeah, so at this point, we will cast the Laris. Drawn a lot of lands. So we'll bobble ourselves. Hopefully there's not a land on top. Overgrown Tomb is on top, which means we'll fetch it away. Just go ahead and get the Overgrown Tomb. And then we'll pick our land back up. And we'll pass again. Again, I don't really see the need to attack yet. Especially not into a Coco, potentially. Leonin Arbiter and Pride Sovereign. Are we just playing against green-white cats? What in the world? Create 2 1/1 white creature tokens. Lifelink. Okay. I'll kill this in response. Yep. I'll grab a forest. I'm gonna go ahead and cast a Mishra's Bauble. Bobble my opponent now, because I'm probably just going to play one of these Shocklands tapped. Stoneforge Mystic is on top. We'll go ahead and pick up Overgrown Tomb. Just play that tapped. And then play this Tarmogoyf. Yeah. Now I will attack with one Tarmogoyf. Not like an attack with both, but I'm okay with them flashing this in here and making some cats if they want. Oh, they had 2. Are we just... Okay. Oh, yeah, it's going to become a 6-power creature. It's pretty cute. Pretty cute. Cute little cats doing their cute little cat things. Assassin's Trophy's a good draw. That's an easy way to answer the Pride Sovereign now that it's a massive creature. I wonder what other equipments they have. Could be Sophie, Sword of Feast and Famine. Okay. It's reasonable. I think I'm just gonna play a Tarmogoyf out of the graveyard. Go ahead and pick up Overgrown Tomb. And then I could play this and say go. And they're likely going to have to attack just about everything at the Wrenn and 6. If they draw a land, they get to put the sword into play with the Stoneforge and then equip it to something. But we can Assassin's Trophy the sword if it comes to that. And then they can't activate the Pride Sovereign if they spend all their mana doing that. It's hard to say exactly what to do. I do think I'm going to play a land tap, though, instead of untapped. Simply because there's no reason to do so. No land means no sword. And no attack means the Wrenn gets the ult. I don't understand, boy. But I accept. Fatal Push this. Discard this land. Yes. Fatal Push this. Discard this land. Yes. And then we will play a Nurturing Peatland. And a Mishra's Bauble. And I'll look at the top card of their deck. Forest. So I don't think they beat this just simply because we can Assassin's Trophy the sword. Okay, if we drew Kolaghan's Command there, I'm almost certain they concede to that. But yeah, this is fine. One of the two cards we know that's in their hand is a Batter Skull. Yeah. Get them to attack and we'll trophy the sword. And we can block the little cat. Yep, play another sword. And then we'll just trophy that sword. Just ditch this Blackleaf Cliffs. Alright. Opponent sees the writing on the wall. We are going to board in some creature hate on this one. They seem to have a lot of creatures. Kolaghan's Command's great against Stoneforge Mystic decks, so we've got 3 of those. So we are in good shape there. Engineered Explosives, Anger of the Gods are fine. Collected Brutality can be good against Creature plus Collected Company. The rest of these, however, just kind of seem like whatever. Assassin's Trophy, not my favorite card for this matchup. Giving them a land is not ideal. But that being said, when they have Leonin Arbiter on the table, this is just Vindicate. This is just instant speed Vindicate a lot of the time. Or it can be, I guess. I think I prefer things that play to the table. So we're going to do something like this. Then have the Brutalities as the discard spell of choice, with it also serving as a removal spell. Show you my Pokemon. Opponent moles the 6. I considered for a brief moment whether or not I wanted to Brutality there instead of playing the Dark Confidant this turn, but I think it's probably better just to get the Bob down. Worst case scenario, they play Leonin Arbiter and Ghost Quarter us. That's exactly what happens. But this is not even that bad. We do have a Bob in play, which is good for us. And we do have a Seal of Fire to take care of the Leonin Arbiter. And then we can fetch. Which I will go ahead and do. Go ahead and grab an Overgrown Tomb tapped. And then no matter which land my opponent blows up, if they decide to go that route again, like if they have the exact same assemblance of cards, if they have Leonin Arbiter plus Ghost Quarter again, Wrenn and 6 is likely to just win the game from that point. Okay. Thalia plus Bird. So I think this turn is Shock-In, Stomping Ground, Collective Brutality, kill the Thalia, look at your hand. And I'll just pitch the Raging Ravine because the Wrenn and 6 will probably pick it back up next turn. Take Winds of Abandon, which isn't anything super crazy, but it could have been a collected company, which is obviously something you want to take out of the hand before it happens. Yeah, so now this Wrenn and 6 is likely to just waltz away with the game. Just kill this. Floating black mana. This could tell me that they are cocoing here. They are. They drew a collected company. Nothing too crazy. So, just going to Play the Scavenging Ooze. Minor misstep on my part. By attempting to change phases there, I actually gave my opponent priority to cast the Collected Company after I decided to ping the bird. It was a minor misplay on both parts, because realistically what should have happened was I should have pinged, I should have played my land, my fetch land, and then pinged the bird, and then whenever they Collected Company in response, then I should have fetched, simply because if they hit a Leonard Arbiter off of this, I can no longer fetch this land. Because it was in my hand. But luckily, they didn't hit Leonard Arbiter, and they also didn't cast Collected Company in response to me Rin down-ticking. So we are going to bobble them on their upkeep here. Got a Dryad Arbor on top. Isn't scary even in the slightest. This is 3 to activate, right? Yeah. So they could activate that this turn if they wanted to. Choosing not to, though. I actually think that the Wren is more important than either of these creatures. Leaving me with Dark Confidant is a wise choice on the opponent's part. Okay. We'll go ahead and kill the bird. And we'll play Luris. Gotta play this out first because I need double black here. And then I'll play Seal of Fire from the graveyard. And we'll just seal this right now. And I'll attack 2. Unless they activate this, which they do. So I will not attack for 2. All right. Solid 3-2. I made a couple minor mistakes against Infect and Tron. I don't think it cost us in the Infect game, but it may have cost us in the Tron game. There was a spot where I specifically didn't cast an Inquisition, and the opponent ended up playing a Walking Ballista the next turn for a lot more than, 3 mana, obviously, even though it's got CMC 0. So some minor misplays on my part. I do think that, obviously, this version of Jund, while Luris still works this way in Modern, is certainly playable. It's a very good deck, very well-rounded. It's hard to say what it's going to look like after the ban. There was a couple times, obviously, during that league where, especially during that last game where I played Luris on turn 3 or 4, and with this new rules update, the new change, again, I'll pull that article up one more time. With this new change, it could very easily make these companions unplayable in Eternal formats. They're still very good at the moment, but once they change them, it'll be interesting to see how everything pans out. So hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a comment and let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys next time.